talking about equipment, I think it's crucial that people out there are aware of what police are using. And I've spoken many times about Stingray devices, different jamming devices, the J-Lens blimp that was up there in the Baltimore area. You have crowd control devices, these big dishes that are like microwave energy that they use for crowd control. We've seen all of these different devices out here, but what's disturbing is there are devices being used and agencies admitting this, even though the Supreme Court has ruled against it. Now, isn't that illegal? Isn't that a crime? And why shouldn't people be able to, citizens, arrest individuals breaking such laws? Well, it's now coming to light that we have more agencies out here admitting, and although we've known for years that they've been using these radar devices, they're now using new technology. Okay? And the most disturbing part about it is that it requires no warrant for an officer to spy on you in the privacy of your own home. Now, this is not something being theorized. This is fact, being used by dozens of departments. And they've been using them for the past 2 years. At least 50 U.S. law enforcement agencies have secretly equipped their officers with these new devices where they can peer into homes, offices, buildings. And the practice, once word got out, has raised a lot of concern, and rightfully so, because you have civil liberty activists and a growing number of the population wanting to know what's going on with this. Now, the FBI and U.S. Marshals, both agencies, confirming they have used this technology without obtaining warrants. All of this in spite of the fact that the U.S. Supreme Court has ruled that law enforcement may not use the technology that would allow them to observe inside of a home without a warrant. Now, this technology works by using radio waves to detect movement, even the slightest. You're talking human breathing from up to 50 feet away. The device, called the Range R by L3 Communications VPC. And there is a video here that shows how it all works. But the idea that the government can send signals through walls of your home with no warrant is very problematic, I think. I think other people should know about this. You know, when you go out to certain places like Ferguson and Baltimore, where they're displaying some of this technology, new stuff, you can see they're using it, especially when you're live streaming and they jam the signal, when choppers are all over the place and they sit right above you specifically on multiple occasions, and things start to glitch. Like I said, I've talked about the Stingray devices, but we talk about all this right now, okay? What they're using to see inside of a home. And here's a look at the handheld sensor itself. And I've talked about this in previous videos, but now it's being talked about more, and more departments are using them, and they're being caught doing so despite them not being allowed to do it without a warrant. And this breaks it down here, how they see through the walls and all that. But my point is this: even though we're talking about all this, most people are just finding out about this technology, there's even more advanced tech with 3D capabilities that they're buying up as I speak. And they go on to say the same thing right here. More stuff that could be mounted onto a drone. Quiet drones that no one's going to hear or see in the middle of the night. They can drop in infrared, scan your whole home, and dip off. And imagine that. You got drones coming in with this kind of capability, and Chicago just got granted the permission from the feds to be able to use these in their police force, like all over the place. They could equip these with sensors to swoop down on a house, and since most people's property cameras are on the lawn, out in the yard, things of that nature, anything coming down from above that they cannot hear because it's going to be so quiet can basically get right above the home and run a scan of the whole house. So things to think about, especially when they're using this technology to their advantage when they're not supposed to be. I'll leave a link with more information. It's been Dabu7.